Welcome to another webinar. This webinar is going to be on LED light bars for high-performing continuous lighting. And to introduce our light bars will be Brendan Drew, our Director of Product Management for Indoor. Brendan.
Thank you, Matt, and I want to welcome everybody to this afternoon's webinar where we'll be featuring our new light bar for MaxLite. If you look at the slide, we're going to run through a few items about the light bars, just some basics about the product, some of the applications in which the product can be used, some of the new features that are going to be incorporated with this new upgraded version of light bars, just some of the detailed specification, some of the accessories that are available, as well as just a quick look at a brochure that is being developed and some other marketing materials that will be available on our website so that everybody can get a great understanding of all the possibilities and all of the great things that this product can bring to you and to your customers. So to begin with, the new LED light bar series. As many people know who are familiar with MaxLite's product portfolio, we've had a light bar product for a while, and this represents really the new design, new generation of that concept of product. It is still a mains voltage linkable product. It still has an extremely low profile. You can see here on the slide that it's about 3/4 of an inch, a little bit taller so that it fits well in a lot of small spaces. And it's really an extremely flexible product. It can be used in a lot of different ways. And we think with some of the new features that we've brought in, we've given some increased versatility in terms of how it can connect, how it can be mounted, and some of the different spaces in which it can be used. So it's really a great upgrade to a product that was already a good product. Looking at different applications for the light bar, these are some of the more popular ones that customers have told us that they've used the product successfully and had good results. First is under cabinet applications. Certainly in residences, also in office spaces. These are really well adapted to being fit under cabinets. The low profile allows them to be put there without being visually detracting from the space. And the quality of the light that they produce gives a nice result on desk surfaces or countertops. And so they've been really popular in that use. Also in coves, here the connectability feature, as well as in the under cabinet application, the connectability feature really makes this a great product for up in cove spaces. The ease of connectability, as well as given that great light and the dimmability, makes it a nice solution there. We also have a number of customers who are using light bars in display applications, whether they be actually in cases or shelving units. They've really become a great solution for people in those cases. And a lot of other accent applications as well. We've seen, for example, people using light bars around the perimeter of a mirror to backlight a mirror in some hospitality applications and in some other places where their small size and versatility allows them to put light on items that people want to feature in their designs. So it has proven to be very versatile, and I imagine that there are many other uses for the light bars beyond just those that we've listed here. Just to take a second and look at some of the features of the light bars, we have a great look. The design has an aluminum body with a nice white diffuser. Already mentioned several times the low profile of this product. And we have really improved the dimming as well from the previous generation. So one of the great things about this new generation of light bar is that when you put together your connected run of lighting and put it on a dimmer, you get very even dimming across the entire range. If you happen to visit us at Light Fair, we had a panel in which we were displaying the light bars and we had them set up on a dimmer. And so hopefully many of you were able to see this much improved dimming technology. Also about the new product, there's a new patent-pending integrated connector, which allows us to connect the pieces from the back of the light bar rather than end-to-end. And one of the nice aspects of doing that is it allows the end caps to be a little bit thinner so that when you're putting your continuous runs together, when the end caps come together, the break in light is somewhere in the neighborhood of 1/8 of an inch. which when you have an under cabinet or a cove or something like that, basically makes the light continuous. There's almost no break in terms of the visual light, and connecting from the back allows us to do that. We've also introduced some additional mounting methodologies with this upgrade. So we still have a standard bracket. We have a pivot bracket that is improved over the previous design, but we've also introduced now a magnetic mount. We found that there's some uses for especially shelving and cases like that where being able to put the bar up using magnets has become a nice flexible option for things where there'll be some changes from time to time. Shelving heights change, things like that, and having the magnetic mount gives it some flexibility to make those kinds of adjustments. If we go to the next slide, we just have the overview of what the family of light bars looks like. Just like in previous generations, we've got a number of different sizes here. So we have the 6-inch, the 12-inch, the 24-inch, the 36-inch, and the 48-inch. And this is a little bit different than previous generations in that we have excluded some of the longer models that were previously available. There's no longer a 5 or a 6-foot piece available in the light bars. Just found that with what we offer here, we're able to cover the vast majority of applications, and that from a popularity standpoint, we've covered the main group of products which people have been using in the prior generations. You also see the mounting methods, which I just mentioned, the color temperatures, which we will be stocking, which is just to carry on the color temperatures which we have stocked in prior generations of this product. I will mention here that it is generally possible to get alternate color temperatures if it's required for your project. We just have to make certain volumes in order to make the factory run smoothly. But as long as you have adequate requirements, we can normally get alternate CCTs if that's required. And then the other points here I think we've mostly covered in terms of the dimming, mains voltage product at 120 volts, and our 5-year warranty. Just to give a little more detail about the performance of the light bars, you can see for the different sizes what the power draw and light output is. It comes back to being approximately 350 to 400 lumens per foot is how the light output looks for this product, which is pretty consistent with the standard model that we had offered previously. One thing that I know some people have asked when comparing to the previous model is, will we have a high output version available? And it's not available right now. It is something that we're talking to the technical team about developing, but it will be down the road a bit before we introduce any sort of high output version of the new light bar. You can see here also that the product is damp rated, so that if you have applications which require damp usage, the product is suitable for that. And we're happy to announce that we have just received our certification for NSF as well, so that if you have requirements, especially some of the case applications, I know we get requests, does your product meet the requirements for NSF? And in this case, we're happy to say that it does, so that it can just expand the potential options for where the light bar can be a solution for you. Next, we've got just a quick overview of the sizes I just mentioned, the 6-inch, 12-inch, 24, 36, and 48. And part of the great features of the new light bar is also the look. We've talked about the low profile several times, but it has a nice appearance as well. It's an aluminum extruded body. One point to look at is the integral driver that is part of the light bar construction. This is one of the places where the upgrade to the new generation is really making a difference. I mentioned earlier that when you have a connected series of intermixed lengths, that you still get great performance, especially in dimming applications. And this is an area where our previous generations had some limitations in terms of the number of dimmers that it would work with, and then in terms of how the overall dimming worked. We've made huge strides here with this new driver technology in terms of how the product looks and dims consistently across the entire connected run. Next, we want to just go over the components that make up the rest of the system. So, of course, you have the light bar themselves. Those are the main portions, but we have numerous options about how the light bars can be connected, how they can be mounted, and how we can power them up. So starting in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the end cap. Now the end cap actually ships with each light bar. So in a box, you get the light bar with the end cap in place. The remaining pieces that you see here as accessories all need to be ordered as part of the system. So individual orders for the different connecting pieces, the different mounting pieces are necessary in order to build out your particular project. The second from the left is the bar-to-bar connector. So this is the hard molded straight connected piece that allows you just to make a butt joint for a continuous run of light. The one in the middle there, the 4-inch flexible connector, you can see it has the connecting pieces. It has a 4-inch piece of wire connecting so that you can have some flexibility to make soft corners or to change direction a little bit and even go from, say, a horizontal surface to a vertical surface. The next two, the 12-inch and the 40-inch, are similar except with longer wire distances, so that you can cover bigger gaps or go over bigger opening spaces. Depends on what you might need for your particular application. In the second row, starting at the left again, we have 2 additional and new types of connectors. These are the 90-degree connectors. So we have a 90-degree right and a 90-degree left. This is something that we didn't have in the previous generation, and this is a really nice option for making those hard corners where you want that continuous light, not to have any break in the light for whatever that application may be, whether it's a case or shelving or a cove. You can get a great corner now utilizing these molded pieces. The next 3 items listed here are the different mounting brackets that are available. So the first is the standard mounting bracket. It's a bit of a butterfly clip. The second one is a pivot bracket. This allows for the bar to be placed in these pivot brackets and to be adjusted either towards the left or towards the right of center, depending on where you want to direct the light. Then we have the magnetic mount. Again, this is a new feature that in the system that allows the light bar to easily be mounted to any kind of deal where you can get that good magnetic connection. It gives it a lot of flexibility. And then we come down to the bottom row, which relates to bringing power to the light bars. The first 2 items there, the connector box and the distribution box, are similar to the existing generation. They create options for how you might bring power into your continuous run. The distribution box has the opportunity as well where you have from the side, you have the incoming power. To the bottom, you have a switched line where you can adjust on-off. And then out the top of the distribution box, you have the hot line where it's always on. So that gives you some flexibility if you want to do some branch circuiting and things like that in your design. The last 2 items are the hardwire cord and the plug cord. With the hardwire cord, you can initiate the continuous run from a standard switch or from some other junction box where you've made that connection. With the plug cord, of course, you can just connect to an outlet, standard 120-volt outlet, and bring power into your run that way. The next slide gives really the details of just showing how the connecting system looks and works. So you can see in the picture on the left, you have a light bar where the end cap has been removed and getting positioned so that we can make a connection of these 2 light bars together. In the middle image, you can see our bar-to-bar connector has been positioned between the 2 bars. And one thing I'll point out as well is that the way this has been designed, it can only go together in one way. So there's geometry of these connectors doesn't allow you to put things in backwards or incorrectly. There's a little bit of an angled surface on the one end that has to fit correctly in order for this to click together. So in the third image, you can see that once you have it aligned and snapped together, you've got a really nice small joint. You can see where I mentioned earlier about the thin end caps. You can see there that the connecting point, it's only about 1/8 of an inch or so where the two end caps are coming together. And so whether it's this bar-to-bar connector or whether it's the flexible connectors or any of the other joining options that you have, so this just really details how the system goes together. The various connectors all match these molded plugs in order to bring the power from one piece to the next through the run. One point I do want to mention, was mentioned at other places in the slides. For emphasis, though, the system is capable of connecting 40 feet on one particular run. So you have quite a bit of distance that you can manage on one setup. The next slide is really just showing the flexible connectors. Here again, you can see we've actually connected in the lower left corner using one of the hard 90s. So you can see how they overlap so that the actual break-in light is really just the thickness of one end cap, which is, again, just a little bit under 1/16 of an inch. And in the center upper right portion, we're showing how the flexible connectors can be utilized. We've got the connection made with the 4-inch connector there, but have the 12 in the background just to, again, show some of the different options that are available for joining the system. And again, just the versatility and flexibility that the LITEBART system can bring to your projects. If we go to the next slide, we're showing two of the mounting methods here. On the left, we have the standard clip, and one thing you can see here is that kind of a type of butterfly clip, and what's nice is that you do have potential for how you're doing your installation. With our current model, you have to set up your design, you have to mark your brackets, take the bars down, put the brackets in place, screw them up, and then reconnect everything. Here you have the potential to put the brackets on, click things in place, and screw them in place with the brackets already on. So it should make for a little bit of an easier installation. On the right side there, you can see that with the pivot bracket, if you use the pivot capability to push the bar off to one side, there again, you'll be able to put the bracket in place and make that connection with the bracket on the bar. The next slide is just a little bit of opportunity to zoom in on the capability of the pivot. One nice thing about the pivot is it just adds, again, to the flexibility of the system. You now have the opportunity to direct the light a little more to where you want it. So if you have maybe some wall wash applications or other instances where you'd like to have the light a little more directed, you can use this pivot bracket to swivel the light over to the position that you want to cover. Next up is the new magnetic mount. So if you look at the lower picture, you can see how the brackets attach and that the magnets are in the base of the brackets. And then the upper picture just shows an example where the bracket has been attached to the bottom of a metal brace for a shelving unit. And so this, again, is just another example of where we've increased the versatility and given some additional capability to the LITEBART system. This opens up lots of possibilities, and because it is just set up with magnets, it becomes pretty flexible and easy to adjust for any of those applications where maybe they're not as permanent and maybe they need to be more adjustable. So this gives you some great flexibility for that kind of a situation. The next slide just is a view of a brochure for the LITEBARs. A lot of the information that we've been discussing today is presented there. It's a nice summary of the capabilities and some of the different applications that the LITEBARs have. And if you are going to the MaxLite website, you'll be able to find information about LITEBARs, including data sheets, brochure, and also we've prepared a group of frequently asked questions, and on this last slide you can see that the URL for the frequently asked questions. Here we've tried to cover some of the basic items about the new system. We've tried to address some of the questions that we get routinely through our customer service lines and support lines, and encourage everybody who's interested in the product to take a look at those. And of course, if you have further questions, you can always reach out to us at MaxLite, and we will do our very best to answer those questions. I hope everybody is as excited about the potential for the LITEBAR as I am. I think we have a great product, and I know that our customers will have a lot of great success with it and come up with a lot of creative ways to use the products. Thank you for your time this afternoon, and I'd like to pass it back to Matt so that he can take you through some additional information.
Thank you, Brendan. I just wanted to remind everyone about MaxLite University. The MaxLite University Lighting Degree Program offers 3 comprehensive courses in lighting fundamentals, ranging from beginner to advanced. It's free and eligible for the following continuing education units from the American Lighting Association: Lighting Fundamentals Intermediate, and Lighting Fundamentals Advanced. So check it out over at maxliteuniversity.com. I wanted to let everybody know to stay updated and subscribe to all that MaxLite has to offer, including the MaxLite Minute newsletter, product announcements, press releases, and webinars. Just click the subscribe button at the bottom of the homepage of maxlite.com. Follow MaxLite on all its social media, from LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You'll find unique content on each of these social platforms for MaxLite. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for attending. Please feel free to use this opportunity to ask any questions you may have about MaxLite or the products shown in this presentation. Have a great day.